from South Carolina Public Radio, this is Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia. Hi, I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray, and this week we're donning our super suits and flying into the world of DC Comics. From blockbuster movies to classic comic books.
Coming up this hour, we'll see how well you remember the actors who have portrayed the Caped Crusader on film and put your supervillain knowledge to the test with a game mixing real and fake DC bad guys. We'll also speak with a College of Charleston educator about teaching comic books and the lasting influence of DC characters on popular culture.
If this sounds like fun and you want to join us for these games, call or text us, 803-470-6347. That's 803-470-6347. Or you can send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org. You're going to get a shot at the title of Who What When Champion of the Week and our very special trophy, big enough to maybe fold a cape and put it inside. You know what I'm talking about. It's the Who What When Fanny Pack.
Depends on the cape brand. Either way, DC Comics is our topic this week. And a lot like their longtime rival Marvel, DC is a pretty big force of pop culture nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, because you're looking at a pretty big fan of Batman, Dan, especially the movies. I've gone back and seen a little Batman TV show action. And when you have characters like Batman, The Flash, Joker, Catwoman, Arrow on the CW, we watched Arrow or that. Those have been around for the better part of a century. It's hard to even start to talk about the influence and popularity DC Comics have around the world.
That's exactly right, Brandon. We should say that we definitely won't get to all of that history today. But you mentioning those characters makes me think of another interesting character from the publisher's history. Let's talk about the person who started the company that would eventually become DC Comics, Major Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson, who preferred to be called the Major.
The Major?
Yeah, the Major.
He sounds like a little bit of a comic book character himself. Tell me everything that you possibly can about the Major.
I would love to, Bran. By all accounts, Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson lived a pretty interesting life. He was born in 1890 into a family that was very progressive for the time. His mom was a suffragist who campaigned against capital punishment and helped found a feminist magazine in the early 1900s. After growing up in the Pacific Northwest, the Major attended military school in Syracuse, New York, before joining the ranks of the U.S. Cavalry. He was sent to the Philippines in 1916 and led one of the famous all-black companies of Buffalo Soldiers. According to his autobiography, he also spent time fighting bandits in Mexico and going against the Bolsheviks in Siberia. He was also court-martialed at one point after writing an open letter to President Warren G. Harding criticizing the army.
Now that is quite the life, Dan. But how does the Major go from that to publishing comic books?
I'm glad you asked, Bran. After moving back to the U.S. after living in Europe for a while, he started to write for pulp magazines and eventually decided to make that his career. He ended up starting a company called National Allied Publishing with an interest specifically in comics. Now, up to this point, standalone comic magazines were usually made up of reprinted comic strips from the newspapers. Those sold decent numbers, but the Major decided to try something that was unheard of, publishing a comic magazine that was made up almost entirely of new material, most of which was written by him with much larger drawings and panels than the comic strips. This led to the creation of New Fun magazine, which is generally considered the first modern comic book. He also introduced other books like Action Comics and Detective Comics and hired many of the writers and artists who would go on to create famous characters.
The Major's cooking.
Major's cooking.
But why is it then, if the Major's so busy cooking up such great stuff, why is it that we haven't heard so much about him?
Well, in the 1930s, Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson often ran into financial troubles even after finding success. He partnered with some very savvy businessmen to create sibling companies to publish different lines of comics, and they at one point bought the Major out of his ownership of National Allied Publishing. They then merged it with Detective Comics Incorporated, which later became known as DC. And to add insult to historical injury, this happened just months before the introduction of the character of Superman in 1938. But the Major returned to writing and ended up living a fairly quiet life. His legacy lives on, though, and he was inducted into the comic industry's Will Eisner Hall of Fame in 2008.
Well, If you ask me, Dan, it sounds like somebody needs to make a movie about this guy. We already got the perfect superhero name, the Major.
Makes a lot of sense to me, Brandon. I feel like we could talk about the Major all day, but I think we need to get to our games.
That sounds like a great idea. And we have 2 contestants on the line already. Contestant number 1, what's your name and where are you from?
I'm Gabriel Santiago. I'm come from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
We got ourselves a Massachusetts man.
A New Englander.
Yes.
That's right.
Yep.
Gabriel, are you a big comic guy?
I sometimes go to the comic store with my dad and myself.
I can tell he's been to a comic book store more than I have.
100%.
Yeah.
He seems knowledgeable. He seems ready to go. And I will say this: the good news is if whoever wins today is going to get a Who What One fanny pack. But just think of the possibilities. Going to a comic book store with this
that
fanny pack,
get out.
opportunities are endless. There's a lot of possibilities there. So I'm really excited to see who wins this one.
Gabriel, thanks for playing. Let's meet your opponent. Caller number 2. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey guys, excited to be on the show. My name's Laird and I'm from North Carolina.
Laird from North Carolina. Laird, you a big DC guy?
It's a funny thing. Growing up, I am the kind of person who would own a bunch of comic books. I don't have a ton.
Okay.
However, I am one of those people who, if I'm going to watch a movie or get into a show, I do my research. So I know far more about DC than I should.
Okay.
Given the amount I've read.
Wow. Got a
So
couple of
perhaps
ringers
have
here.
not done a lot of reading of the comic books, but still have a good bit of knowledge. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I guess you could call me a bit of a tourist to the world of DC Comics.
More than fair. More
fair.
than I think this is going to be a good matchup.
It's going to be
Dana.
fun. It's going to be fun. Let's see what happens in our first game.
Yes.
Brand, a game we're calling Who What World's Finest. This is some general DC Comics trivia. We're starting out easy this week. These are all multiple choice. Gabriel, the first question is yours here on Who What World's Finest. A feminist icon and Amazonian princess, this hero premiered in All-Star Comics number 8 in 1941, standing as an early symbol of equality in the comic space, and then was portrayed in several films by Gal Gadot. Is that A, Batgirl, B, Wonder Woman, or C, Supergirl?
It's Batgirl from the Amazon. But seriously, Wonder Woman.
Yes.
It would have to be Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman is correct.
Yes.
I can't even imagine a Batgirl from the Amazon.
No.
That would be crazy.
No, I don't think bats are down
And
there.
Supergirl's from another planet.
Yeah.
Laird trying to tie this thing up here early. First appearing in comics in 1940, Hal Jordan doesn't have any powers himself, but the power ring he gets from an intergalactic police force allows him to manifest items with it and his brain.
Wow.
Is that A, Cyborg, B, Green Lantern, or C, Superman?
It's he's one of those superheroes that people give a hard time. The comics never really portrayed him very positively, especially the cartoons. If you ever watched those old DC, Superman, Batman cartoons. But I believe B, Green Lantern.
Green Lantern is correct. It's 1-1. It's a tie ball game. Gabriel, back to you. Here we go. Barry Allen first appears in a 1956 comic and is actually the second person to use this superhero name as a forensic scientist struck by lightning that now has to chase down villains like the reverse of himself, among others. Is that A, Quicksilver, B, Speed Racer, or C, The Flash?
These questions are really getting easy, aren't they? But will they be hard in the final round?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They will. Final round's going to test you.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to say The Flash.
The Flash. Gabriel thinks the questions are too easy. That is correct. Gabriel, you're on the board again. Laird, your next question here on Who What World's Finest. The original superhero, as he's known, first appeared in Action Comics number 1 in 1938.
Wow.
And most recently was played by David Corenswet in James Gunn's 2025 version of The Son of Kal-El, starring opposite Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Is that A, Batman, B, Superman, C, Hawkeye?
I've really been meaning to watch this. I've heard it's very funny. I've seen some clips and it looks great. I think it is B, Superman.
Superman is correct. And also, Laird, you should check that out ASAP. It's one of my favorite superhero movies of the last 5 years.
Wow.
It is excellent.
Wow.
Here we go. It's tied up. I'm spitting hot takes today. Gabriel, your next question, your next easy boy here, coming your way. This character starts as a villain side piece of one of the most iconic DC villains ever to walk the streets of Gotham, but she becomes so much more, including one of DC's most popular anti-heroes that was portrayed in film by Margot Robbie. Is that A, Harley Quinn, B, Barbara Gordon, or C, Hawkgirl?
Have you guys heard of the 2017 Suicide Squad movie? It is Harley Quinn.
It is Harley Quinn, and also Birds of Prey, Gabriel. She
Yeah.
also returned for Birds of Prey,
Yeah.
an underrated movie, I think is also great.
There you go.
There you go. All right, Laird, still a tie ball game. Here's your next question here on Who What World's Finest. Half human, half Atlantean son of a lighthouse keeper, Arthur Curry has unique amphibious abilities that make him a key member of the Justice League, as well as a hero of not just one world, but two. Is that A, Cyborg, B, Silver Surfer, C, Aquaman?
Now, you were giving quite a lot of movies a bad rap a minute ago, but I will say I think that this film, the first film of his series that they put out recently, was pretty good. I thought it was imaginative, and that would be Aquaman.
Aquaman is correct. The first Aquaman, the James Wan directed Aquaman, a fun time.
Fun time.
An undeniable fun time. All right, Gabriel, back to you. It's a tie ball game here, talking DC Comics, Who What World's Finest, right here on Who What When. Here is your next question. Gaining mass popularity with its CW TV show, this hero actually first appeared in More Fun Comics number 73 in 1941 as a kind of alternate Batman, where wealthy playboy Oliver Queen and his sidekick Roy Harper speed around Star City in disguise. Is that A, the Flash, B, the Atom, C, the Green Arrow?
The Green Arrow. I have heard of the CW show.
He's heard of the show. He's also correct.
Uh-huh.
It is the Green Arrow.
I really liked the CW show, The Green Arrow, until I didn't.
First two seasons of Arrow, solid.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
woof. All right, Laird. Next up, perfect games on the line. Here's your next question, talking DC Comics. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready, no pressure.
A DC Comics property that is known less for one hero and more for its unique standalone story, presented in graphic novel format in 1986-87, Alan Moore's standalone story has heavily influenced comic culture over the last 40 years with a Zack Snyder film and a Damon Lindelof-produced HBO miniseries. Is that A, The Watchmen, B, Sin City, C, Planet Terror?
Ooh, okay. So I know two of these, or I'm familiar with two of them, but I will say I'm not the biggest fan of the direction comic book stuff has gone in recent years. That's a whole topic. But I will say A, Watchmen.
A, Watchmen is correct.
Okay.
It's correct. The other two, Robert Rodriguez films, if you can believe it.
Oh, well, there
Oh,
you
Rob
go.
Rod.
There you go.
All right, it's tied up. We got two questions left here. Who What World's Finest? Gabriel, your last question of the round starts right now. First, he was a teen titan and then a core member of the Justice League. Victor Stone is a talented athlete whose life is changed after an accident, leading his scientist father to rebuild him, turning him into a half-human, half-machine, full force of nature. Is that A, Cyborg, B, Silver Surfer, C, The Thing?
That would have to be Cyborg.
It would have to be Cyborg. Gabriel is correct. A perfect round of easy questions in the books for Gabriel. Laird, you got one left.
This is huge.
Nobody's missed one yet. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. We'll
Great.
see how this goes.
All right, here we go. Dating all the way back to a 1940 comic where Billy Batson is granted magical powers by an ancient wizard, this was originally a Marvel creation until DC sued them because
Wow.
of similarities to Superman. Subsequently, they acquired the character and rebranded him to what we know him as now, after the two Zachary Levi films. Is that A, The Wizard Warrior, B, Shazam, C, Shaq Fu?
Yes.
As interesting as C would be, I will actually say I wish there were more like sort of corny tie-ins with popular celebrities, but I believe it is B, Shazam.
Shazam is correct, although, listen, did I get Sega Genesis Shaq Fu? Was it Street Fighter but worse in every way? You bet it.
But
what
it's
a
Shaq.
game. What a game.
It's
Shaquille
Shaq.
O'Neal out there doing Street Fighter.
Yeah. This is Who What When. I'm Brandon Gray here with my co-host Daniel Thompson, and this week we're flipping through the pages of DC Comics history.
That's right, Bran. Our contestants Laird and Gabriel are off to a great start. Let's see how they do in our next round testing silver screen Batman knowledge.
That and more is coming up right after this break here on Who What When.
Welcome back to Who What When, an hour of history, games, and trivia. I'm Daniel Thompson here with my good buddy Brandon Gray, and today we're exploring the cultural impact of DC Comics and its characters.
We're having fun doing it, Dan.
Yeah, we are.
If you want to be a contestant on a future episode of Who What When, it is very simple. Just call or text us 803-470-6347, or you can send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org. It's the only way to get one of these fanny packs.
That's exactly right. We have a ton of fun here. You're exactly right, Bran, and we've got two great contestants playing with us today, Gabriel from Massachusetts and Laird from North Carolina. The scores are close, but that could change in this next game, one we're calling Who's That Bat?
Who's that bat? Laird and Gabriel. There have been many on-screen portrayals of Batman over the years, and in this game, we're going to give you clues about an actor who has played DC's Dark Knight in either a movie, TV show, or animated series, along with 3 possible answers. Tell us the right one, you've got yourself a bat point.
Man, those bat points are
they're better than regular points.
That's right. Gabriel, all right, you're going to go first in this round. Here's your question on Who's That Bat? We like to think that every actor to ever play the Caped Crusader has uttered the line, I'm Batman. But the guy who made it famous went toe-to-toe with Jack Nicholson's Joker in the 1989 Tim Burton film, Batman. A, Michael Keaton. B, Val Kilmer. C, Mark Hamill.
I'm going to say right now, Val is the imposter Batman after Tim Burton left, but Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is correct. Gabriel calling shots, calling Val imposter. Attaboy, Gabe. Laird, perfect game still intact. Back to you. We're playing Who's That Bat? Here we go. Bam. Pow. Bonk. The 1960s Batman was a serialized TV show of campy charm starring this actor as the lead alongside Burt Ward's Robin, who went along to have a successful acting career for decades, even re-entering the cultural zeitgeist as the mayor on Fox's animated sitcom Family Guy. Is that A, Cesar Romero, B, George Clooney, C, Adam West?
I gotta say that one clip of him running around with that comically large bomb sticks in my memory, despite having never actually watched the show. But I think it would be a lot of fun. I believe it is C, Adam West.
C, Adam West is correct. I loved the Batman TV show.
Yeah?
Oh my goodness. Loved it.
I've seen an episode or two.
Oh man, what a time. Shark repellent? Get out of here. We're playing Who's That Bat here on Who What When. Gabriel, the board is yours. It's a perfect game. Your next question starts right now. Although he starred in sitcoms like Arrested Development, this actor is probably most known for his voice, which has been the official voice of Reese's Peanut Butter, GMC Trucks, and Lego Batman. Is that A, Don LaFontaine, B, Will Arnett, C, Jason Bateman?
Okay, I'm going to have to say Will Arnett. He also plays Batman in the Lego movie with Emmett and Wildstyle.
Yes, he does, and that is correct. All right, Laird, back to you. See if you can tie this bad boy back up. We're talking Batman. We're talking DC Comics. Here we go. While he reprised his role as Iceman in Top Gun Maverick, the role of Batman was one and done for this 80s and 90s heartthrob as he battled Jim Carrey's Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face in 1995's Batman Forever. Is that A, George Clooney, B, Val Kilmer, C, Robert Pattinson?
I would not have known this if not for the previous question. I didn't even realize this man played Batman. But I guess it's going to have to be B, Val Kilmer.
B, Val Kilmer is correct, and Gabriel helping his opponent without realizing it.
Oh, my
saying Val Kilmer was the poser Batman. Laird is correct.
How about that?
Gabriel, it's back to you. We're playing Who's That Bat here on Who What When. Talking about all the different actors to play Batman. Your next question. No one took the Batman voice more deadly serious than this intense Oscar-winning British actor of The Fighter, American Hustle, and others, who practically yelled everything at full volume whenever he donned the mask and cape during Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Is that A, Colin Farrell, B, Cillian Murphy, C, Christian Bale?
I would have to say Christian Bale.
Christian Bale is what he'd have to say, and he would have to be correct. Nailed it. That's the best. I mean, Dark Knight trilogy. Come on, guys. It's the best. No notes.
No notes.
All right, Laird, you got a chance to tie this back up, playing Who's That Bat here on Who What When. Here's your question. Batman and Robin was universally reviled upon its release in 1997, but it's come full circle and is now considered a camp classic by many, with Arnold Schwarzenegger spouting puns about cold weather, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl, and this former ER hunk turned Nespresso salesman donning the bat gear, nipples and all. Is that A, George Clooney, B, Noah Wyle, C, Brad Pitt?
Oh, man. The pit would be very different if Noah Wyle had been in this movie. The nipples haunt me to this day. It's got to be A, George Clooney.
All right. It's a tie game. We got 4 questions left. I'd be shocked if 2 people aren't going to the finals. Gabriel, your next question here on Who's That Bat? Matt Reeves' 2022 The Batman was a reboot of sorts, showcasing a darker, grimier Gotham and a troubled Bruce Wayne that's as much emo detective as billionaire, battling the unrecognizable Colin Farrell as the Penguin, among others. Batman was played by this former teen vampire. A, Taylor Lautner. B, Robert Pattinson. C, Billy Burke.
It would have to be Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson is correct. Those other 2 guys, both from Twilight. That's what I did there.
I see how you.
Billy Burke.
Yeah.
Also, Billy Burke would be a pretty solid Batman. Laird, next question is yours. Director Zack Snyder's DC universe didn't include a standalone Batman film, but it did feature this Goodwill Hunting co-author and former Daredevil as a Caped Crusader with brute force, willing to battle Superman before forming the Justice League. Is that A, Matt Damon, B, Jeremy Renner, C, Ben Affleck?
I thought that he did a lot better than he was given credit for. I think it is C, Ben Affleck.
It is C, Ben Affleck, and I do think his Batman is not as bad as people think it is. It is a very different take. It's a Batman that shoots machine guns. But if that's the Batman that Zack Snyder wants, I think Ben Affleck did a pretty great job. Okay, we got 2 questions left. Gabriel, your last question of the round starts right now. Kevin Conroy is a Juilliard-trained American voice actor that gained popularity in the DC universe for voicing the Caped Crusader for much of the 1990s, including this 1992 animated theatrical release. Is that A, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, B, Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, or C, Batman Forever?
I don't know how he would appear in those 2 movies, but I would have to say Mask of the Phantasm.
A, Batman Mask of the Phantasm is correct.
Wow.
An underrated animated joint for sure.
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Laird, last question of the round. You missed this. Gabriel's going on to the finals for that fanny pack. You get it right. You're both going to the final round.
Wow.
To try to get a Who Won't Win fanny pack. I'm so confident that it won't be a perfect final round. I'm so confident that it won't be, that I'm willing to let them both go on.
Wow.
Right?
But only if he earns it.
And this is the hardest question of this round. Good luck, Laird. Here we go. The serialized Batman TV show in the 1960s wasn't the first Batman story told through media, as Lewis Wilson and Robert Lowry each played the Caped Crusader in the 1940s Columbia serials that were featured on what medium? A, radio, B, television, C, film.
Wow, Dan.
Oh, this is tricky.
It is tricky, Laird.
These, I often say that I'm too young to know a lot of this stuff, and I'm definitely too young to remember any of this, but it would have been wonderful to be in the room, I think, for one of those A radio shows.
A radio is incorrect.
No, Laird!
This was a really tough question. Let me ask you this. Gabriel, do you know this?
Film. It was released in 15 chapters throughout several weeks.
Yes, that is correct.
Oh,
It is.
man.
These were released in the movie theater as basically
Wow.
serialized films in the 1940s.
How about that?
Laird, this is tough. I feel like you did everything right. You ran into a buzzsaw with Gabriel, who even knew how many chapters were in the Batman serials of the 1940s.
Amazing.
As perfect a game as you could get without moving on. What a player. You got to come back again because this was just, you did everything right. But you were one short. Gabriel, congratulations. You're this week's Who What Win Champion of the Week, and you're moving on to try to win a Who What Win fanny pack. Gabriel, how does it feel?
I feel like Laird played a good game, and I'm glad he got to at least experience who, what, when. I appreciate him being a good sport.
Wow.
Good job, Laird.
What a guy. What a sportsman.
That was beautiful.
Laird, thanks for playing.
This is Who What Win. I'm Brandon Gray here with my friend Daniel Thompson, and this week we're exploring the world of DC Comics.
Our contestant Gabriel from Massachusetts has just secured the title of Who What Win Champion of the Week. He's now heading into our final round for a shot at that weekly prize, the sweet Who What Win fanny pack.
But first, a chat with an educator about the influence of DC Comics on popular culture. That's next here on Who What Win.
Welcome back to Who What Win, an hour of history, games, and trivia. I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. We're devoting this week's episode to the history of DC Comics, from Superman to Wonder Woman and everything in between. And we'll get back to our games in just a minute, but first, it's time for our occasional educator spotlight.
That's right, Brand. Every so often, we like to speak with an expert from the world of academia and dig a little deeper into the topics we cover on the show. And today, we're joined by Dr. Julie Davis, Associate Professor of Communication at the College of Charleston, who studies comics and superheroes and even teaches a class about comic books and American culture. Julie, welcome to Who What Win.
Thank you. I'm excited to talk to you all.
We're excited to talk to you. Earlier in the episode, Danny did a wonderful job giving us like a brief overview of the history of DC Comics, the understanding that DC Comics started in 1935 as National Allied Publishing. But I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more, if you can, about the beginning of the company's history.
Well, that is true. It started as National Allied Publications by Major Malcolm Wheeler Nichols, and DC is responsible for the first comic book of original material. Prior to that, all of the comic books were just reprints of newspaper strips, but New Fun was the first totally original comic book published. It wasn't until 1937 that New Allied merged with Detective Comics and All American Comics, which created the National Periodical publications. It's interesting, though, that this company was always known colloquially as DC because the DC trademark appeared on the cover. But it didn't actually change its name to DC until 1977. So it took, 40-something years for the nickname to become official?
That's crazy. And when I think of DC Comics, I think of Superman, who's called like the first superhero in comics. My question, though, is that there were other superhero-like characters that appeared in comic strips before Superman. But we always talk about Superman as though he is the first real superhero. What's the deal there? Why Superman?
Superman's the first character that set the characteristics of what it takes to be a superhero. There were characters before who had some of the elements, but not all. Since then, the folks who study this stuff have found that the actual superheroes have a couple of specific characteristics. One is they have a mission. It's generally pretty basic to help people and fight evil. They have some extreme or unusual set of powers. that set them apart from others. And they also have an important part, which is the secret identity, the separate personas of Superman and Clark Kent, or Batman and Bruce Wayne, and so forth.
Julie, Superman's creators, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, were both first-generation born Jewish Americans. How did their Jewish identity inform their work with the character?
It's interesting that Superman originally included Jewish themes, such as the Golem of Prague, which was in many ways a superpowered creation that functioned to fight anti-Semitism. It also included the theme of being sent away from a family for one's own protection, like baby Moses in the basket going down the river, or what was also happening at the time, which were the Kinder transports, where Jewish children were evacuated from Nazi-controlled areas of Europe and sent to Great Britain.
And Siegel and Shuster were among many Jewish American writers and artists who worked at comic book publishers in the early days of the medium. Why do you think that was the case?
Unfortunately, the reason for that is pretty simple. It was the anti-Semitism of the time. Anti-Semitism kept the Jewish artists out of most other illustration careers, such as news work or advertising work. As Al Jaffe said, most comic book publishers were Jewish, so there was no discrimination there. Frankly, these were the jobs that the illustrators and artists could get at the time.
Wow.
You brought up Batman as well. They so often are pairs. Batman debuting only a year after Superman. Why do you think, is it just the secret identity of both of them that tends to lend them to being paired up, or is there something more to it?
In a lot of ways, Batman and Superman are two sides of the same coin. They both lost their families at a young age in a traumatic way, but they take very different approaches in how they try to help people. Superman has almost these godlike abilities. Batman's capabilities come from, I guess you could say, technology with all of his gadgets. But in a lot of ways, Batman is a superhero because of unlimited financial resources and force of will. It's interesting, though, that one of the things that DC does is create its own fictional cities based roughly on U.S. cities. And Batman and Superman both live and exist in specific stereotypes of New York City. I have heard it described that Gotham, where Batman lives, is New York at night. And Metropolis, where Superman reigns supreme, is New York by day. So to, I guess, cover the whole day, they would often pair the two up. And also to show that happy, optimistic Superman contrasted against the more brooding Batman.
When I think about DC, you think Batman, you think Superman, and then probably Wonder Woman would be next. I'd love for you to share a little bit about the creation of, was it seen as a progressive move to introduce a female character at the time that she was invented, or created, I guess I should say?
Actually, Wonder Woman was not the first female superhero. She was the third. And she debuted in October of 1941. There were two characters for other companies that debuted a little bit before that. Wonder Woman, though, has the title of being the first female superhero to have a solo title of her own. All of the other characters were in other titles, and that's really how Wonder Woman appeared as well. She appeared in All-Star Comics in October of 1941, and Wonder Woman #1 didn't debut until 1942. It was considered very unusual, very unique, though, because as Charles Moulton was creating the character, or had been asked to create a superhero, his wife, also a psychologist, had mentioned many times that she thought he should create a woman superhero. And he said, well, I want to create a superhero who is more focused on love rather than violence. And his wife, Elizabeth, said, that sounds great. Just make sure she's a woman.
I love that.
That's fascinating.
That's great. Julie Davis is an associate professor of communication at the College of Charleston who specializes in comic books. Talk about a dream job. Julie, thank you so much for chatting with us on this DC Comics edition of Who, What, When.
Thank you all. It was a lot of fun.
This is Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia from South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Daniel Thompson here with my good buddy Brandon Gray. Our topic this week is the history of DC Comics.
And before we get to our final round, we wanted to let you know that we would absolutely love to have you join us as a contestant on a future episode. Just call or text us. You're already on your phone. You might as well holler at us. It's 803-470-6347. Or you can send us an email, whoatwhen@scpublicradio.org.
Brand, this week's contestant, Gabriel from
Yes.
Massachusetts, has won the title of Who, What, When Champion of the Week, and you can't take it away
You
from
can't
him.
do it. Don't even try.
Now he has a chance at our weekly trophy, our version of a Super Suits. It's the Who, What, When Fanny Pack, and he'll have to go up against a real rogues gallery to get it. It's our final game today, one we're calling Bonafide Bad Guy.
Yes, Dan, because you have to have a supervillain if you're gonna have a superhero. Gabriel, the DC universe is full of memorable foes. And in this game, Dan is going to help us get to know some of them a little bit better. But here's a twist. For each question, he's going to read you the fictional biographies of two DC bad guys. One of them is real. The other one, we completely made it up. Tell us which one is the bona fide bad guy, and you get the point. You need 6 points to win the fanny pack.
Gabriel, are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Question 1. Your first choice. A ruthless and precise assassin who usually targets heroes like Batman and Green Arrow. He can mimic different sounds like bang, pow, among others. He is onomatopoeia.
All right.
The other villain. With the ability to create high-pitched frequencies that cause intense pain, her gun can amplify sound into destructive blasts and also create sound barriers to deflect whatever Green Arrow slings her way. Her name is Eleven, but she is Dr. Toots.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, Gabriel, which one is real? Onomatopoeia or Dr. Toots?
I would have to say onomatopoeia is a real villain.
Onomatopoeia is a real villain. That is correct.
Oh, man.
That you wanted Dr. Toots
I
to be
want
real?
Dr. Toots to be real.
Yeah. Okay, Gabriel, you got one right. You got onomatopoeia there. Very impressive.
Very good.
Next two options here. We're playing a little game called Bonafide Bad Guys. Option 1. Dr. Alan Tapid's printer experiment goes awry, giving him the unique ability to, well, bother people. He gets the Flash to step on Legos, gets him stuck in a revolving door, make sure his pizzas aren't delivered. He is Professor Mild Inconvenience.
Come on.
Your other option. The Flash tends to find some of the more out there villains for some reason, but this one might take the cake. He dreamed of being an artist until he found out he was colorblind, which makes him turn to a life of crime, complete with a pair of goggles that can shoot rainbow beams out of them.
Whoa!
He is Roy G. Bivolo, a.k.a. the Rainbow Raider.
Ooh.
Gabriel, is Professor Mild Inconvenience or the Rainbow Raider a real villain?
I would have to say was a real villain, actually, but I would say it's the Raider that's real.
The Rainbow Raider is real, is what Gabriel is saying, and he is correct once again. Wow. 2 for 2.
I got to be honest, Dan. I'm already getting the box ready to ship to Fanny
Yeah,
Pack. I'm feeling so
he needs
good
4
about
more right.
this.
We got 6 questions. All right, you ready for your next one? Bonafide bad guys. Which of these villains is actually a DC villain? Here are your 2 choices. Gabriel. Becky Bluster accidentally steals an enchanted meteorological staff while interning at the local news station, allowing her to control the weather, but only within a 24 to 48 hour window, meaning she has to plan her forecasts of danger in advance, which makes Wonder Woman's job that much easier. She is the Weather Witch. Or,
Strong name.
following the death of his wife, this Greek history professor turned Arkham inmate terrorizes Gotham City, mainly with his ego. To be fair, if your name was Dr. Maximilian Zeus, you would too. He is Maxi Zeus. Gabriel, which villain is real? Is it the Weather Witch or Maxi Zeus?
I would have to say Weather Witch.
Weather Witch is the guess, and for the first time all round, Gabriel is incorrect.
Wow.
I can't believe he missed one.
How about that?
Maxi Zeus, a real thing.
Unbelievable.
Can you believe
the
that?
ego really it's too big and then it just overwhelms you.
That's right. He actually annoys a lot of the other villains. They hate him. I read a lot about it.
Gabriel, it's okay.
How you feeling,
It's
Gabriel?
Okay. You can still win this.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. That was a tough
He
one.
doesn't care. I think he missed it on
Yeah,
purpose. He wanted to make it interesting for radio.
He's like using the lifeline to call his dad to let him know he's going to win the $1 million.
No
fanny
big
pack.
deal.
Here we go. Your next question here on Bonafide Bad Guys. Vic Pappas lived for one thing, throwing the biggest parties.
Heck yeah, Vic.
When he loses his job because of a helium shortage, he snaps. His rage and twisted sense of entertainment lead him to a life of crime. With his Gatling gun of deadly party favors that changes colors at will, Vic terrorizes Central City in the Flash by crashing important events and taking them down. He is the Confetti King.
Brother. Yeah.
Or, created out of respect for the legendary Peanuts character Charlie Brown, Chuck Brown is known for his bad luck, but all that changes when he dons the flight getup that allows him easy gliding from place to place. He is Kite Man.
Wow.
Which villain is real? Confetti King or Kite Man?
I'm going to do a callback. Kite Man, heck yes. I can't swear for radio.
Yeah, I appreciate you tempering that, Gabriel, because I'm with you, man.
We're all
Kite Man
excited.
is correct. You should look up this villain in your spare time.
So, okay, obviously, shout out Charlie Brown.
Yes.
Obviously. But does he fly around with an actual kite?
Yeah, he's originally a joke villain, and then they
Okay.
give him a real backstory that's very sad and make him a real villain, but his powers are so limited. All right, Gabriel, we got 4 questions left. You need 3 of them right for that fanny pack. Pick which villain is the real DC villain. Here we go. Philip Reardon lost his sight in an explosion, allowing a mob doctor to do experiments on him that would reconnect his optic nerves to his fingers, allowing him to see through them, kind of Pan's Labyrinth style. Problem is, he's pretty easily defeated just by covering his hands. He is the Tin-Eyed Man. Or, Lyle Rohrer is a Gotham radio DJ that becomes so enamored with his own voice after being exposed to Hugo Strange's latest alien tech, which allows him to manifest opinions as sound waves that run in a loop, creating a literal shouting match with Superman. He is the Echo Chamber.
Wow.
Gabriel, which DC villain is real? The Tin-Eyed Man or the Echo Chamber?
You really are getting creative with these villains. I have to admit, this would be a riot for DC, honestly.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
No problem. Ten-Eyed Man.
Tin-Eyed Man is correct. I realized when I wrote that, I said Gotham and then Superman in the Echo Chamber, which would give it away. He could
He can
commute.
100%.
Superman
100%.
flies to Gotham, so the Echo Chamber
Well,
can...
100%. Now, Dan,
yeah.
the Tin-Eyed Man, is his kryptonite just gloves?
Gloves, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, me too. Like getting those suckers on,
It's tough.
It's hard.
And then if you try to pull them off and the fingers get stuck
If
in,
you've ever
it's-
got, and I'll say this,
Listen.
we don't get a lot of snow days here in South Carolina,
No,
but
we don't.
occasionally we
No,
do.
we don't,
And
yeah.
then you got to put gloves on your kids.
Well, forget it.
On real kryptonite.
Real kryptonite.
Nothing is more frustrating
Yeah.
than trying to put gloves on children.
You said it. Well, I mean, some things probably.
No, nothing.
Okay, great. All right, Gabriel, you need 2 more correct. You got 3 left. You got a little wiggle room. Let's see if we can get you that fanny pack. Here's your next question on bona fide bad guys. When his snack ideas are stolen by a competitor, Lou Branch becomes consumed by jealousy and obsession, utilizing his knowledge of chemistry to weaponize common snack foods.
No!
Armed with weapons disguised as chips, candy bars, and soda, Branch attacks Green Lantern only to be defeated by ingesting one of his own expanding marshmallow monsters.
Yep.
He is the Snack Master.
Oh, boy.
Or increased strength, speed, and power to shoot fire from his hands. All sounds pretty normal, right? Religiously fervent villain of the New Guardians. Pretty straightforward. He gets his power from his god, which is also cocaine. Wait, what?
Whoa.
He is Snowflame.
Whoa.
Gabriel, is the real villain Snowflame or the Snack Master?
I feel okay. I feel like this isn't my answer, but I feel like the Snack Master is just a complicated fictional version of the Flaming Hot story, if you know that.
Oh, yeah.
But my answer is no flame.
Snowflame is his answer. He didn't get fooled by that one. I would have. That is correct. So, Gabriel, we've reached crunch time. We got 2 left, and you need one of them. And if you get one of them right, you are going home with a Who What When fanny pack.
Wow.
This could be the last question of the round. Are you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Third-rate stand-up comedian Buddy Sandler unknowingly kept Joker from being a contestant at a comedy competition. Joker uses Mad Hatter's mind control tech to brainwash Buddy in order to humiliate him. Instead, he becomes a very specific type of villain, one that wears a pickle-shaped hood, dispenses mustard gas toxins, among others. He is Condiment Man. Or Dieter Klein's fall from beloved party DJ in Star City begins after a freak accident involving a cursed subwoofer and a lightning strike.
Yep.
After the incident, no matter what Klein does, he brings the vibes down, which he turns into a superpower, draining the life and excitement out of everyone he comes in contact with, including the Green Arrow. He is Baron von Buzzkill. Gabriel, is the real villain Condiment Man or Baron von Buzzkill?
If you watch the Lego Batman movie, you would know one of the villains is included in the group. One of those guys is the Condiment King.
The Condiment King or Condiment Man is correct.
Wow.
Gabriel from Massachusetts has literally almost run the table. He missed one, but that hasn't stopped him from being not only the Who What Win Champion of the Week, but also the proud owner of a Who What Win fanny pack. Gabriel, what a player, what a game. Well done. Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome.
What are you going to put in your fanny pack?
I'm gonna put coins and other stuff, actually.
Coins
I don't know
and other stuff. Heck yeah, man.
Gabriel, do you want to hear the last one just for the fun of it?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Maybe not Batman's most memorable villain. That doesn't stop Stefan Dulschwitz from dancing his way into DC lore. His love of pyrotechnics and dance choreography comes full circle in his glittery flame-covered outfit that allows him to create firestorms at will. He is Disco Inferno.
Fantastic.
Or Sven Larsson was a scientist who unfortunately fell into a vat of amino acids, which turns him into quarter human, quarter vine, quarter T-Rex, quarter diamond, allowing him to transform any quarter of his body into a similar substance, being a difficult foil for the Doom Patrol. He is Animal Vegetable Mineral Man. Which is it?
I would have to say, I don't think I heard that second villain, but I would have to say A.
Okay, it was actually Animal Vegetable Mineral Man.
Wow, how about that?
Disco Inferno was fake, which was crazy. So, that was the hardest one. I didn't even realize it until I flipped the page. Congratulations.
Great work, buddy. And that's going to do it for a heroic DC Comics episode of Who What When. Thanks again to our contestants Laird and Gabriel for playing with us this week. And congratulations again to Gabriel for being this week's Who What When champion.
Our producer is A.T. Shire. Our executive producer is Sean Birch, who we all think might be the superhero known as Dr. Salad. This show is a production of South Carolina Public Radio and is made possible in part by listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina.
Join us for an episode of Who, What, When. Just call or text us at 803-470-6347 or send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org.
You can find out more about the show at our website, whowhatwhenshow.org.
And you can listen to an extended version of the show in your favorite podcast app or through your smart speaker.
I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. Join us again next week for more history, games, and trivia right here on Who, What, When.